tinokutsigirai muite maprojects because nyika inovakwa neveni vayo. Isu sevatungamiri venyu vana baba venyu tine shungu dzokuti tisiye nyika ino yanaka kupfuura zvatakaiwana iri.
Chokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kuti isu vamwe tioneswe moto. Dai pasina kupindira kwaishe chokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kuti isu vamwe tioneswe moto. Dai pasina kupindira kwaishe kana dzimba dzedu dzingadai dziri dzavo mawanzira vanoita dzimba dzavo vanoda kuti isu vamwe tigare mumiti dzimba 10 pamunhu mumwe chete vanoda kuti isu vamwe tigare mumiti dzimba 10 pamunhu mumwe chete vanoda kuti isu vamwe tigare mumiti. Dai pasina kupindira kwaishe chokwadi pasi pano taiona moto.
Climate change has been a big issue for the world, and especially for third world countries. The ability to provide sustainable food solutions for populations has become the center of what Africa is looking at. I mean, look at the war in Ukraine. It has exposed Africa's dependence in terms of agriculture, in terms of fertilizers, to developed world. And where there was war in Ukraine, small Ukraine in Europe at war with Russia, we felt the effects in Zimbabwe. And in most of these seasons that have come past, we have been importing maize, we have been importing agricultural produces to supplement and feed our nations. But in Zimbabwe, young people are rising to the occasion. They are looking for food and agricultural solutions. They are dealing with climate change in different ways. And one of those people who are bringing these solutions is Ngoni Sanangurai, an accountant by profession turned farmer. Controversial for his political views, but also has inspired a lot of young people to begin to think about being productive and doing agriculture as a solution to Africa's problems. Now this herein is the situation right now. With me, your host as usual, Dara B. Join me just after this break as we discuss food security, politics, economy, and our social needs in this nation. Welcome back to The Situation Right Now. With me, your host as usual, Dara B. And this afternoon we are discussing food security, politics, and the economy. On The Situation Right Now on Heart and Soul TV and radio with my guest, Ngoni Sanangurai. Controversial, Ngoni.
Dara.
Thank you very much for joining me on this program.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Now, Ngoni, you're an accountant by profession, but you've ventured into food production. You do chicken rearing. Now you are into farming horticultural produces. What motivated this?
Thank you, Blessed. Look, I think to start with, it was passion. As a chartered accountant, the last thing you expect to see is me doing farming. But when I started doing farming, it was passion. as somebody who grew up in the rural areas, I was quite passionate about farming, so I decided to venture into it as a hobby. But then later I realized it can actually be a business. So I then decided to commercialize the operation and turn it into business.
You talk about growing up in the rural areas. Let's just hear a bit of your background. What is your background like?
Okay, so I was born in Bohera, and I lived there for 2 years. When I was 2, my dad then moved to Rusape, and I grew up in Rusape. So in Rusape, in an area called Chinenga, that's where I grew up. Rural boy, herding cattle, farming, going to a school 10 kilometers away, barefooted. So there's nothing about rural life that you can tell me. Tobacco farming from nursery all the way to the auction floors. That was my life growing up. And by God's grace, I found myself in town. But that experience from the rural area really is what has pushed me to venture into this business.
So you're telling me that a young boy right now in Lotito can one day become a businessman running something as big as this?
I think it all comes to passion and also ambition. But a young rural boy today in Lotito can wake up tomorrow with this business. Just maybe to give you an idea of how rural I was. When I went to boarding school, going into the city for the first time in Form 1, I saw cornflakes for the first time when I was in Form 1, and I didn't know how they were eaten. I had to wait and watch other kids how they were eating those. So that tells you how rural I was. But here I am today. We are pushing this enterprise, and so there's opportunity for every rural kid who has the ambition, the drive, and the desire to achieve something like this.
I want to take you away from the farming aspect for a moment. You have controversial views that you share on your social media handle without restraint in a country where most people are afraid to speak. Where do you get that?
Look, I think politics determines the economy. It determines how companies operate. It affects everyone, whether you're a politician or you're not. And at the end of the day, what we want as young people is just an economy that enables us to do what we think we are good at. An economy that allows us to show what we are made of and what we can do. And when politicians fail to provide that economy, then us as young people, we need to air out our views and sort of express to them how their decisions are affecting our small businesses. And look, at the end of the day, if I as a small business struggle, I contribute to the fiscus, I pay taxes, my businesses pay taxes, and all other young people out there who are running businesses. If those businesses are struggling, then it means the national pocket will also struggle, because then these guys are not making money. So that's what we are trying to do, to say, guys, let's just make the economy work.
But the government that is there has said that it is sensitive to small businesses, it is supporting them. Aren't you feeling that support?
Here I am, I've not received any support. I've not received any government support. It's just been a lot of hard work and trying to put things together so that things work.
I mean, in terms of policies, the policy not supportive. President Emerson Mnangagwa said, shut up and make money, and the like.
Yes, but we need an enabling environment which allows us to make the money.
Is it not there?
It's not there at the moment. Because when you look at it now, as a farmer, I buy all my inputs in US dollars, right? So all my costs are in US dollars. And when I go to the market, how am I paid? I'm paid in RTGS. And if the customer delays settling my invoice, it's losing value on a daily basis because of the weakness of the RTGS currency. So that then eats into my profit, it eats into the viability of the business, and at the end of the day, the business may not survive. So that's why I am passionate about the politics of this country. I'm passionate about how the economy works, because it directly affects this business. It affects the people that we work with in this business, because if we close tomorrow, then everyone else, including myself, have got no income.
Do you think that capital should have a direct interest in politics and how this country or any country is governed?
Definitely, yes. Look, I think some of the decisions, it's unfortunate that at times political decisions are not really the best. at times. But I think we need to get to a point where we start making economic decisions in as much as they may affect us politically, but as long as they turn the economy around and get things to work. Then once the economy is doing well, then it also reflects that the politics is good. But as long as that's not happening, then it's going to affect everybody.
But I remember at one point business being accused of dabbling into politics, and the statement from the government was that if you want to be politicians, leave business and come to politics. But here you're talking about the inseparability of those.
Definitely, because the political decisions that are made have a direct impact on the economy. So some of us have got no ambitions to be politicians. But what we just want to do is to build businesses like this that are sustainable, that will contribute into the fiscus, that will contribute into food security in this country. So all we want is an enabling environment, stable environment that allows us to work and be able to realize our ambition and be able to contribute into the building of the nation. That's all we want.
You've identified yourself with certain political parties, in fact with the Triple C. Does this not affect your business? Because some business people I've spoken to say they're afraid to declare where their leanings are because it comes back to haunt them.
Look, I think small-minded people would think that way, because at the end of the day, I think we are not politicians and we are too small to have an impact in terms of politics. All we are just doing is trying to just develop good businesses that are sustainable, that help the government efforts in what they're doing and complement the government efforts. That's all we are trying to do. So we are very small people to think that if I'm ZANU-PF or if I'm Triple C, then my business is going to suffer. And it's small-minded people that say, I'm not going to support XYZ because they support the other party. It's really petty. At the end of the day, we are one people, and as long as somebody is doing the right things, then that person deserves support.
You're a member of the CA, you call it
ACCA. Yes.
And at one time, your organization gave a book to the president, and they were talking in this book, they were talking about how the economy has turned around, and I saw your social media post that this was a lie. Let's talk about that tweet.
Look, I think when you're looking at the economy, you don't need to talk about how good the economy has become. It speaks for itself. When you look at the exchange rate, it speaks for itself. And I might go out there, blow the horn that the economy is doing so well, but the economy will speak for itself. Inflation will speak for itself. Exchange rate will speak for itself. Availability of goods and services will speak for itself. And at times, that's not the case. So we cannot say things are well when they are not. We just need to talk reality. When you go to the high density areas, you see so many people there who've got nothing to do, unemployed youths, and drug abuse has become a big problem in our country. Why? Because young people have got nothing to do. So those are the things that speak to how well or how bad an economy is doing. And we don't need to preach that the economy is doing. It speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm. Now you're talking about young people being idle there, but you have come with this, and many people say that if you don't have capital, you can't dream about this. Now, how did you fund this?
Yeah, to a certain extent, capital can be a problem, but I think the idea is bigger than capital. Young people need to come up with ideas, and once you have an idea that is vibrant, that is good, definitely capital will flow to the idea. So yes, in a way, it affects a lot of young people that don't have capital, but the idea is the biggest thing. And at the end of the day, if you want to be successful as a young person, you need to strive to be different, do something different from what everyone else is doing. You're never going to be successful if you just do what everyone else is doing. So when we decided to start this venture, it was because I saw an opportunity and I saw, things that people were doing with other nurseries. Before we started this nursery, I was farming. And one of the problems we used to face is availability of seedlings when you want them. Sometimes you go to nurseries, they give you different variety from what you want. So when you plant, you then start seeing these things. And I thought, well, why not establish this so that the seedlings are available as and when I want them, I get the right varieties, and we do things right. And the feedback from our customers has been awesome. They're supporting us, they like what we're doing, and we just want to do the right things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, there was need that was created for you because of of a business malpractice,
Yeah.
how much is need a driver for innovation, in your view?
I think nowadays it's either you innovate or you remain behind or you die. So definitely innovation is required. It's either if you don't innovate, everyone else will move and you remain stagnant. So even in this industry that we're in, you definitely have to move with times and move with technology and innovate and try and come up with ways, because right now margins are very small. So if you don't innovate, it means that you're going to keep having high costs, which that eat into your small margins, and the business will forward. So there is need to innovate in this sector. There is need for people to come up with ideas that sustain the businesses, so that the little margins we make can sustain the business going forward. Yeah.
And the other thing around small businesses or entrepreneur is that the founder normally wants to do everything. They want to be the accountant, they want to be the manager, they want to be the salesperson. How are you handling this issue?
Look, that is a big mistake for a startup business to think that as the founder of a business you can do everything. It is not possible. We have a fantastic team that work with us, that I take as partners rather than employees. They don't work for me, we work together. And you've got guys that do the sowing, you've guys that manage the nursery, you have the agronomists that make sure that the quality of the seedling is good. It's never possible for the founder of a business to think that you can be the salesperson, the accountant, and everything. You will fold. So you definitely need to find people who are capable, who are able, who will help you to build the business. And I think that's what we've done here. We have a fantastic team of staff that are doing an amazing job.
But let's look at this. You're doing a value chain here. So you're coming from seedlings.
Yeah.
You're also planting them and growing them.
Correct.
You are also rearing chickens.
Yeah.
From the point of egg, you are offering all these services. You want to push others out of business.
Look, the cake is too big for me to push everyone out of business. But it just comes down to the quality of service, how you treat your customers, how you value your customers. That's what will keep you in business. And I think for me, this is something that I really value a lot. The client is the king. They are very important. You need to listen to what they say. You need to get in feedback from them and take that in, be it positive or negative feedback. So small players that do shortcuts and things like that will definitely go out of business if you don't do things the right way. So I believe in doing things the right way. I believe in making sure that whatever I do it wholeheartedly, and I've tried to impart that into the team to make sure that whatever we do it the right way. So we've now started the nursery. We still farm, and when I meet a client and I say to them, this variety is good, I say to them, come to my farm and I'll show you how good it is. I take them there, they go and have a look, and they see how well the seedling is doing. So I'm walking the talk. I'm not just talking theory. It's something that I know and I've done. And, we're trying to create an ecosystem where all these seedlings, the chickens, the rabbits, they survive together and they feed into each other. So the chickens, we take the manure, we put it in the greenhouse, we take the rabbit urine. It's a nice insecticide. It's also a very good fertilizer. So we apply it in the greenhouses as well. So these are things that sort of feed into each other, and it increases production, profitability, and viability of the business.
And let's talk about urban farming, because you're doing this in the urban setting where in the past we always just thought or felt that if you want to do agriculture, you've got to go to the rural areas.
Yeah. Look, I think one of the things that like I've said, keeps you in business is profitability. And if you're farming too far away from the market, your costs of delivering your product to the market can be a challenge. So being closer to the market for me helps to improve my profitability. Hence why we set up here, because it's closer to our customers, it's closer to everybody, it's closer to the companies that supply us with inputs and seeds and so forth. So that helps us to really reduce our costs. So urban farming is great, and people that think that they must go far away to go and farm, I don't know what their model is like. And also, for young people out there, look, you don't need 20 hectares to be able to run or to do a venture that's profitable. We are here sitting on a 1.8 hectare plot, and look at how all this is set up. So it comes down to really narrowing into things that you can do well.
Yeah. Amazing. But let's talk about the economy. You were saying the economy, the way it affects business, is a concern to you. Where do you think our economy is going in your view?
Look, I think at the moment, my honest view is that I don't think the RTGS currency is sustainable, because as it loses value, it's going to affect whoever is earning that currency. So today, if I'm earning 1,000 RTGS and the rate is 1:10, tomorrow I wake up it's 1:15, it means in real terms I'm earning less and less and less. So it means that businesses that generate or earn their revenue in the local currency are bound to fold as long as the local currency continue to depreciate. And that also helps to push inflation up, because in a bid to try and survive that, those businesses will keep increasing their prices to try and cushion themselves. But look, you wake up one day, the currency is eroded, and the money you had yesterday gets you less value today. So that for me is the biggest concern, that businesses will suffer because of the continuous loss in value of the RTGS.
But the Minister Mtuli says that they've arrested this inflation. The rate has been stable for quite a while now. The gold coins, all those things are working to improve the economy. What's your view on that?
Look, it's like weight loss, Blessed. If you starve yourself for 3 days and lose a kilo, you can't celebrate that you've lost weight. The moment you start eating, the weight will come back. So the measures that he put in place, because look, right now, those suppliers are not being paid, but the moment you start paying them, what's going to happen? They'll go back on the black market, they'll start doing whatever they were doing before. And you see the rate will start moving again. The inflation will start going up again. So there's need for real solutions that sort of bring business to normalcy and be able to arrest the inflation and the exchange rate.
So you are saying the current system is people are being starved?
Look, as far as I know, a lot of the suppliers into government, they've not been paid in a while. And the moment that they start receiving their payments, I foresee a scenario where the rate will start increasing again.
Is this a tactical admission by government that they are the real drivers of inflation or of the RTGS losing value?
Look, I think there's been a lot of malpractice within government, lack of controls. I think we saw the scandal that came out at Parliament for those overpriced laptops and things like that. So as long as those things were going unchecked, it means in a way they were driving the activity happening on the black market and stuff like that. And I think that really affects everybody. So I think the measures they've put in place now, in a way, will try and restrict what's been happening. But I think the malpractice is really grounded deeply within the government.
Is there anything that government has done that you appreciate at the moment?
Look, I think they've tried to stabilize the ship. There's time when things were haywire, and I think the infrastructure development, we see it. They're doing quite well. But I think for me, as a young person who's trying to find my feet in business, yes, infrastructure is good, but I think at the moment what everyone is looking for is bread and butter issues. I want to be able to send kids to school. I want to be able to eat in the morning, and infrastructure is not going to provide that for me. So the quick solution that everyone on the street wants is to be able to send their kids to school, to eat in the morning. And I think as long as that's not addressed, the good that the government is doing may be overshadowed by the effects of the economic environment.
Now, what we're going to just basically do right now is to take a bit of a tour of this necessary, get your guys to tell us a bit about how they do it and what makes it so interesting. Mm-hmm. Then we'll come back to you and also just hear your closing remarks. So just after this break, we are going to take a small tour on how this place is run. Then we will come back to you on the situation right now.
Welcome to Hobak Seedlings. Here, that's where, this we call it a sump. That's where we soak our media, which we use to sow our seedlings. Our media comes as blocks, as compressed blocks. So we put them in the sump, then we put water to reach all the soils which can be available in our blocks, is they will affect our seeds. Then after soaking the media, we take out our media into this propagation room. The trays. After filling the trays, they dribble them. Dribbling, we are saying we are now creating a planting station within the cells, so that when we sow, our seedlings will be having a good seed to medium contact for good germination. Okay, before we fill these trays, our trays soaked in formalin for disinfection. So after these trays soaked in the formalin, that's when they come here and fill the trays. After filling, they dribble them, then they start sowing. So this is the process for filling the trays in preparation for sowing our seeds. So she is now dribbling our trays. She is now creating a hose for the, as you see, these are the planting station. We have been created, so that's why we put our seeds one by one. So this is how we sow our seeds into the trays. Every seed must be in a single cell. As you see, each seed is within a single cell for us to get a seedling in a cell. Then after finishing sowing, we cover again the trees. We are now creating a good media seed contact for a proper germination of our seeds. Then we stack our trees like the ones here. So that's how we stack our trees on top of each other for waiting for germination. Usually our seedlings, our tomatoes, our cabbages, they take 4 to 5 days to start germinating. So we'll be checking every day, thrice a day, in the morning, in the afternoon. So we'll come and check all the trays to the middle. So when we see there's some seeds start germinated, then we take our trays to the nursery, the greenhouse. So they finish the germination process in the greenhouse.
After we leave the process of seeding and germination, we then move into this nursery, into the greenhouse nursery. So in the nursery, we've got the conducive temperatures that allow the plants to thrive. We water, we fertigate, and we maintain the crop health over a period of at least 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, the plants are ready, or 4 weeks when the temperature, or less or much more if the temperatures are high. So when you uproot a seedling and you fold it over your fingers and it doesn't snap, then it means that it is fully ready and hardened for transplant or ready for dispatch to a potential client. We have a variety of seedlings, from open pollinated hybrid seedlings, and also greenhouse varieties and open field varieties. Some clients are organized and they pay for their produce beforehand. When they pay, we tag them so that we know which clients have a batch that is almost ready, and then that makes it easier for their farming and their planning. We have a variety of genuine suppliers that we work with. Most nurseries have a problem of maybe giving clients what is not the exact thing that they've asked for, and that's the problem that's been in the industry for a while now. But we are actually working with seed houses that are certified to make sure that we give the client the exact thing. It's easier for accountability and also to show that we are a responsible service provider. We make sure we give you share quality and we stick to our promise. We make sure that we give you the healthiest plant that you can get. We make sure that it's free from blemishes, it's free from pests, so that by the time you take it to your field, you're not starting to treat the plant, but it gives it the best head start. The problem that is happening is that when you nurse your own seedling, sometimes you don't know the right fertilizers to give it, the proper disease and pest management, and then at the end of the day, you end up with plants that start off on a bad note, or plants that start off weak and unable to thrive and give you the best conditions. So what happens with the plant is they already know how much they will give you from the amount of fertilizers that you give it, or from the starch that you give it. It's able to know or to decipher scientifically how much it's going to give you. So we make sure that your plants are ready to give you the right geared start from the beginning. So those are some of the advantages of getting seedlings from a reputable nursery.
Thank you very much for taking us through this tour, Ngoni. Now, before I let you go, I just want to talk about something controversial, you know.
Yeah.
Your support for Manchester United.
Look, Manchester United is me. Manchester United is football. When I see people that support Manchester City, it means those are mafikizolos of football. Yeah. So you can take me wherever, but you can't take me away from Manchester United. It is blood.
But it's beating Manchester City beat you, and you know you guys are just playing badly, except your last match.
Look, man, it's a season. Seasons don't last forever. So now we're about to go into the rain season. It doesn't last forever.
I mean, you guys actually, when you won, the Prime Minister resigned.
No. No, the Prime Minister she had their own problems there. But look at the game that we played the day before yesterday. Fantastic game. I think it's the best game so far of the season. So I'm excited. Look, Manchester United is almost the same as the Zimbabwean economy. Look how bad it's been doing. Now it's getting better. And, very soon you'll see us back on the top of the Premier League.
And locally, which football team do you support?
Dynamos.
But you're all green.
Yes, I know. I wish I could turn this blue. But then the problem now with blue for Dynamos is that Chelsea is blue. So now, when I wear my blue shirt, people may mistake me for a Chelsea supporter. But I don't support such small teams like Chelsea.
Amazing. Now, in closing, Ngoni, there are young people out there listening. There are also agronomists out there. Let's talk about how agriculture can turn around the fortunes of this country and can also change the lives of young people. Is that possible?
It is very possible. I mean, look, Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of Africa. We all know that. And things happened. And there's a big void that's there in terms of producing for the economy, in terms of producing, filling up that gap. Look, now we're importing maize from Zambia and things like that. So that shows an opportunity that is there for young people to come into farming and be able to produce maize, to produce all these vegetables and stuff like that. It pains me when I go into these supermarkets here and you find product that's been imported from South Africa, yet we have got vast amount of land in this country, and young people are there crying that there are no jobs. So I think there's need for a shift in the mindset of young people from just wanting to be employed into building businesses, no matter how small. You know, we all start from somewhere. And there's a big opportunity for young people to come and join farming and be able to help increase the production in this country. So the market is there. Government is importing products into this country to show that there's a shortfall. So there's need for young people to come and complement government efforts and try and make sure that there's food security in this country. So I implore all the young people out there, do your small rabbit project, do your small chicken project, do your small farming project, contribute in a way, and don't just sit there and cry because there are no jobs. Look at myself, I'm a chartered accountant. I could have been working elsewhere. Not that it's bad to work elsewhere, but I saw an opportunity which I thought was bigger than being an employee, and I decided to exploit. So the opportunity is there for those that are hungry to be able to contribute into and complement what the government is doing in terms of agriculture. There's a saying that the next billionaires are going to come from agriculture. That's why you see me here.
You want to be the billionaire in RTJ?
I want to be the next billionaire in whichever currency. As long as I'm a billionaire, that's perfectly okay. So the opportunity is big, and people should feel free to come and join farming and be able to make some money and earn a living. It is a business. I think we need to move away from treating farming as just a way of survival. But let's treat it as a business, manage the costs, do your numbers, and make sure that you turn it into a profitable business.
Amazing. This year is the vision. The expanse. You can look at how big it is. All seedlings waiting for delivery, waiting for clients. A young boy going to school on foot without shoes has made this dream possible. It's made it a reality. You out there can be inspired. It doesn't matter, your background does not matter. It is what you're looking at. It is the vision that you have and the hunger to make it happen. You can be an entrepreneur. You can make a difference to develop this nation. You can be what you desire to be. Now this was and this is the situation right now here on Heart and Soul TV and radio. And I'm your host as usual, Dara B, bringing you the news that changes the nation, bringing you the discussions that matter. Thank you for joining us and choosing HSTV as your station of choice.